say, Linda, that it's not my personal experience. I'm certainly not living in a climate of fear at the moment. And I think, my experience throughout my social work career, which has mostly been in local authority, is of swings and roundabouts. I was active for many years in NALGO and dealt with a whole range of trade union issues. And, when I think back, I think of good things that happened, but I also think of a time when women couldn't get, or men either indeed, but at that time we didn't even think of men doing job share. People having children and coming back and being completely impossible to get work. Of some of the kind of services that we provided, where if you couldn't stay in your own home with a home help for 2 hours a week, you went into residential care, and there was no choice. So I think for both social workers and for service users, we some things improve and other things get worse, and we have a have a constant striving to improve things, and that's we work together. We need to find friends. We need to have places that we can talk safely. And certainly for me, if I felt unsafe in my place of work, I'd move.
Yes, I think it is substantially different, and I think it's substantially different in much of the ways that Kathy mentioned. Certainly one of my areas of interest in research is the learning difficulties field, and when I was a social work practitioner, the needs of people with learning difficulties, we didn't even use that word in that phrase in those days, but certainly never involved their need to live independently, for instance. So I think things have really, really moved on. And one of the things I think I was trying to get across in my presentation was that there have been a lot of doors have been opened through legislation and particularly through the service user movement, which we as social workers have an opportunity to push at and to walk through. There's a huge amount of tokenism in a lot of these kind of developments, and lip service paid to things like racial equality through performance assessment frameworks. I understand that they become tokenistic tick box exercises. However, I think that the mechanisms are there, the law is there, the legislation is in place, and the rhetoric is there, even though it is usually implemented in a very tokenistic way. And I think it's, well, I see it as perhaps our professional responsibility to ensure that doesn't happen. If people, I would like to hear from people here really, because it's not my area of kind of day-to-day experience, but if people really do feel scared and under threat, then maybe that's an opportunity for discussion about how that can be resisted. And I think it can only be resisted in a collective way. As individuals, you're sunk basically in that kind of climate.
Can I just say, as a way of trying to struggle through the particular question about how we can go forward in this? We are being required to involve service users in decisions about services and research and other kinds of ways. Maybe there is somewhere in that contradiction that on the one hand social work and social services are becoming more and more authoritarian, whilst at the same time we must enter into dialogue with service users. Is there somewhere there that collective action might be pursued? And that's, I'm not assuming there that social workers and service users are going to share a perspective. They very much may not. And I'm being a bit concerned that social workers are inviting service users to help them make decisions, service users who they know will agree with them or won't speak up or won't say that's a lot of rubbish that you're talking, it doesn't meet my needs. And it's about entering into conflict with them and struggle in terms of moving a situation forward. The other aspect of this is, which we seldom talk about, is that service users aren't necessarily committed to social justice.